Hi everyone, it's Heidi Smith here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the United Kingdom, and you can find me on Flutter by Heidi, which is my website. And today I'm talking Pretty Parasol. So this is a new stamp set that coordinates with the existing punch that we already have in the catalogue. So if you've already got the punch that you've used with Under My Umbrella, then that's lovely, but you can just buy the Pretty Parasol to go with it. And if you haven't got either, I really recommend that you get this, because this is such a pretty set. So in the same way that Under My Umbrella was kind of more wintry kind of themes, I've got here you go. So it's got some Wellington boots and raindrops, and some lovely sentiments, but this one is very much aimed at sort of spring and summer, and has some lovely little accents and just very pretty parasols. I'm also going to be using our lovely 3D embossing folder, which I've got here, which is the bricks and mortar. Lovely texture that these stamp sets give, absolutely beautiful. And you can have a debossed or an embossed side. I'm using the embossed side, so that's with the Stampin' Up logo on the top. And I'm going to use our blue plate, which helps get the right sandwich for that. And here's the card that we're making. So you can see here it's just slightly off cut to really showcase that lovely textured feel of the brickwork. And then I've used the stamp set of the smaller parasol along with our lovely Stampin' Blends in colours. So the two colours, three colours that I'm going to be using. So on this one I use the Magenta Madness that you can see here, and some Just Jade. But just to show you how well these colours work together, I'm going to be using the Misty Moonlight with the Just Jade for our second one, and let's compare how those look. So let's get on with our project. So it's a really straightforward project to start off with. Because what you're going to do is you're going to create a card base, and all I'm doing with the card base is I've taken a piece of card that is 18 centimetres by 14.5 centimetres, and I've just scored that then at 10.5. Now obviously if you've got if you've cut a card base already, then that's just taking 3 centimetres off the side there. So if you prepare your card base in advance, just trim 3 centimetres off. If not, then cut it and then score it, and you'll have your card base. So in order to get this partial embossing, what we do is we pop our piece in, and what I did to get the kind of lining up right was I used this line on the front to make my sandwich. So I've just popped that there. I'm going to put my blue plate over the top, because we're not going to want to emboss any of that there. And then I'm just going to pop that through my embossing folder. So with your base plate on your big shot, that just goes straight through. And you'll end up with this effect here. And if you don't go all the way through, you will find that you just get a nice subtle effect here, just like so. So that's our embossing part done. The next part obviously is to create our umbrellas. So if you just take a scrap of Whisper White, and you're going to want your stamping pierce mat, because that helps with a photopolymer to get a really good impression. I've popped this onto a block already, and I'm going to use my Memento ink. And just, so ink that up well, tap, tap, tap. Just press and hold very slightly. You get a really lovely crisp image. So again, tap, tap, tap. And you're going to want 3 of those. Now, one of the things to know is when you're using the punch, obviously, what you want to do is just punch those small pieces. So what I tend to do is I'll just snip up there and pop that in from the side. Now I tend to punch before colouring, because it's awful to colour something really nice and then find you haven't punched it quite as well. And so I'm just going to punch those out. And the reason I cut is, if you look, if you'd put that in, you'd be cutting out with the large umbrella there. So quite often I will create those on a long narrow strip, if you imagine like that. just happened to be the scrap I had wasn't long and narrow. And then you can literally punch one out, trim it, punch the next one out. And that way you get really efficient use of your card. As I say, it depends what scraps you've got. I wouldn't necessarily cut a piece specifically for that if I'd already got some scraps. And these are the little bits are always useful for adding, you know, little flowers or anything else. So nothing goes to waste. Okay, so pop your punch away. Remember, when you close it, just push that up to lock that in place. Okay, so we've then got our 3 little umbrellas. Now I've already coloured 2 of them in, but I'm just going to show you the colouring. So what I'm going to do with this one is I'm taking my dark Misty Moonlight first, and I'm using the brush end. And I'm just coming round that. Coming in like so. I'm going to take my lighter one and just fill that central part. And that will just leave that centre bit slightly highlighted. Just make sure you've got no sort of hard lines. Now, if ever you find that you've done a bit too much, you should use colour lifter, which is your clear one, just to take the colour off. I haven't got mine to hand to show you, but just to show it. So the other way you can do it, which is just as effective, is you can come all the way over with your lighter colour, like so. And that's a little tip, is great for doing those little light bits. Come in with the dark, just round that outer edge. And then just come in with the light again, just to soften that. And then all I'm going to do with the lower part is colour that in Just Jade. And just remember that these come in a combo pack, so you get both the light and the dark every time. Which means that, you know, straight away you can get in there with your blending. So light, add my dark just on the outer edge. And this just echoes that sort of shading slightly. And then just come in over that edge where they meet to blend and just put in. So there we go. Simple as that. So those are our coloured ones. And a third one in there. It would help if I actually, there you go, use the ones that are all coloured. And then we can crack on with our card. So what I've done next is I've opened my card up, and I'm going to think about where my little fringing is going to happen. So I've got the little fringing here. You see, already stained by Magenta Madness. In fact, what I will do is just give that a quick clean on my chamois, just to make sure that it is nice and clean. There's no hint of pink there. Okay. And what I did was I sort of put my an approximation of where I'm going to put it. So having done that, that's fine. I'm just going to stamp there. And what you might want to do is, what I haven't done, is just pop a bit of grid paper. I just use my scrap grid paper when my big pieces are kind of used to just to protect my stamp and pierce mat. So again, I'm going to pop that there, and then I can pop one generally in the middle like so. I'm then going to use my pretty parasol handle and just come down from the middle there as well. And it just sort of reminds people that it is a parasol, they're not just hanging there. And the next part is obviously to stamp our sentiment. Now, on the first one, I used the sentiment that was there in the stamp set. It's a happy day. But for this one, I'm using this lovely happy birthday, which is from the new Posted For You stamp set as well. And having put my Just Jade away, let's open it back up again. So again, tap, tap, tap. and just line that up at the bottom. So happy birthday on the bottom there. And this one was inspired by a card we made recently at a team training event. So might look a little bit familiar. Now on that very top one, I'm just putting my dimensionals, my mini dimensionals, just on the edge there, because you don't want any glue showing on this side. So I might want to just pop that down just a touch so that the fringing fits better. There we go. So the same on the next one. So on the next one, I know I can put sort of 3 dimensionals on this side here. So I'm going to pop one at the bottom and another one most of the way over. And again, just pop that like so. And then our third one, which is underneath. Same again, just work out where you can put those dimensionals. And the beauty of this is that you're not going to worry about sort of the back on those. So there we go. And then all that's left to do is I'm just going to stamp on the inside with this pretty floral image. So again, using your memento, and just choose a part that isn't already embossed, because you're not going to want to try and stamp on something that's an uneven surface. And then I'm just coming in with this with a little bit of, in this case, Magenta Madness, but again, if you haven't got that, use another colour or echo the colours on the front. And I just put a little hint of that. Bullet tip's probably better for this point because it's a little bit more precision. And just pop the centres in there. And there we have a pair of pretty parasol cards ready to send out. So I hope you've enjoyed that. It's just a way of adding a little bit more interest to a card, but keeping the card really quite simple as well. I hope you enjoyed enjoy making this, and if you'd like to purchase the products that you need to make these cards, pop along to my blog, flutterbyheidi.co.uk. You'll find the links there, or find me on Stampin' Up! Demonstrator login as Heidi Smith. A login, as a demonstrator finder, heidismith.stampinup.net, and there'll be a link there that says shop, and just pop along there. Thanks for watching. Come back again soon. I'd love to have you as a customer. Thanks for watching. Bye now.